Here is our brand new Quincy QGS 7.5 horsepower rotary screw air compressor with integrated air dryer mounted on an 80-gallon tank. Just picked this up yesterday. We're going to do our first walkthrough and startup for you today. A few things to note on this. When you get this, it does come in a big box, so you have to carefully take that box apart, pull it off the crate without damaging anything. But we'll just go through and note a couple of things here. I've already put the plugs on. Again, this is overkill. When we move, that will be a much smaller plug. It'll be a 30 amp plug. Right now, this is a 60 amp plug. Again, I was using my 15 horsepower unit here, and that's the size receptacle I have, so that's what we're going to use for now. And then it comes with just a 115 volt, so I just installed this plug on it today. When you first get it, you'll just have wires that are made with nice little ends like that, and I'll cut those off and put those plugs on to match your facility. And then this was just a little packet there to take some of the moisture out. That was inside the main cabinet here. And then we're going to go ahead and pull this off. This is where all of our power connections are made internally. I'm going to show you a couple of minor things we have to change in there in order to verify what voltage we're using. And here's the dryer over here. It did come with a drain valve here, which is nice, so we can drain this daily. And then all I did was add the fitting with the barb connection and some clear tubing here. So now I can empty that out without a mess. And that tubing goes right back here into this bucket. You can pick this up for a few bucks at Home Depot with the leak-proof lid. And then I also have the drain from the dryer also going right into that bucket. So that should be a nice setup for that. Here we just came out to a 1/2-inch ball valve, so that'll give me the power to have a shut off there. A couple of fittings there, and then again, overkill right now, but it's going into my large air network here. So that's just the basic look of it here. And I'm going to go ahead and take this cover off, and we can take a look inside here and see what changes I had to make here. Okay, so these air compressors are tri-voltage, meaning you can get them at 208 volt, 230 volt, or 460 volt. And if we look right in here, so here, now that I've got a close-up, all I had to do was move that lead from 230 to 200. I kept the one on the 0, and I moved the one from 230 over to the left once to 200. And again, that's your tri-voltage setup. The only other thing I did is on this dial right here, I just moved that from 22.5 to 24. And you'll actually see that in a couple of different places. One is right on the inside of the panel. It has a nice little diagram here of the tri-voltage setup. And there's also some jumpers, but notice the jumpers are the same for 208 volt and 230 volt, so I didn't have to change those jumpers. Those jumpers are found right back here. These jumpers right here. I did move the dial though on the overload set point. This reads that it should be at about 22.5, and then if it's 208 volt, 24.7. So almost maxing that out. So I did make that small adjustment right here. And then here's that transformer from 230 to 200. I made that change. So that's really it on the inside of that. Super simple, super quick. It's just nice to have some instruction on how to do that and what needs to be done. So hopefully that helps there. So now we'll button this up and we'll go ahead and bump start it and test the directional phase. Now that we've got all of our setup done, we've made sure that the voltage is correct according to our shop. We've connected the air. We've put something in place for our drain lines. We've made the new plug-ins for our 115 volt single phase dryer outlet and our 208 volt 3-phase compressor outlet. We're ready to go. Now, direction is important on these machines because if this thing goes in the wrong direction, they can burn out fairly quickly. And so we want to bump start this, starting it and stopping it real quick to make sure we've got the right direction. And they've included this little paper up here with this little drawing that shows, hey, if this thing flaps up and air is coming out of that exhaust, then that's the correct direction. If this thing stays flat and air is getting sucked in, then it's the wrong direction. So that's what we're going to be checking for right now. So I'm going to go ahead and plug these in, and we'll go ahead and bump start. Okay, we've just plugged into the wall for our compressor, into an extension cord for our dryer. We'll go ahead and turn the dryer on first. Dryer is on and operational. Very quiet so far. Now I'm going to turn on the main power for the compressor. And then now we're going to power on the unit. And again, we're going to bump start. We're going to turn it on and turn it off real quick, while also watching for this paper to be either blowing up or being sucked in. Now you notice that right away it says okay, so we got lucky. It's pretty much a 50-50 shot. If that was the wrong direction and that paper had stayed down, then I would simply change one of the legs of power somewhere, either in the plug itself or on the back of the machine, or I could even do it at the breaker at the electrical panel in the shop. So at one of those spots I would just have to change one of those legs. But now that we know that the direction is correct, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back on and then let it go ahead and fill the tank. That pressure going up now, filling that large tank. Right now we're at 60 psi and the QGS 7.5 runs at 150 psi. I'm almost there on that gauge. Now the compressor is off. We have 150 psi and a full tank. We're ready to go. This has been a quick walkthrough on the new QGS 7.5 horsepower Quincy rotary screw air compressor and dryer.